The College Football Hall of Famer, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Heisman Trophy winner. Hey, Tim Brown, when you look back, what award, I don't know how many times you made the Pro Bowl, what stands out as just, I am really proud of that. By the way, great to see you. Thank you for doing this and being on Stacking the Box, our NFL podcast, and talking to Fansided.
No problem. I think for me, man, obviously the Heisman is a remarkable award to win because you are the only one that year that's getting that award. But I think when I look back over my career, the consistency of being able to, go to 9 Pro Bowls, do the things the 10 years catches and yardage and all that stuff. Coming off a major injury my second year where, doctors told me that, maybe 3-4 years you got on this knee, man. Go use that Notre Dame education and get ready for life out the football when you're 23 years old. To be able to play 15 years after that. And I could I didn't I shouldn't have missed the game. There was one game they held me out because of a hamstring issue, but basically playing 15 years after that, it's something that consistency, man, is something that I'm very proud of.
Can you, just for people who don't know, I mean, your second year, you mentioned that you had a big injury. You talk about that injury and what happened and how really it's a borderline medical miracle that you were able to play as long as you did, as well as you did.
Yeah, it was on a kickoff return, the opening game of the year, man, and tried to make a cut and ran into a linebacker coming full speed on the kickoff return, and he literally just demolished me. And when you see it on film, it really doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look like but if you concentrate on my knee did a couple of little tricky things, man. It went in and back and tore my medial collateral off the bone, and the posterior cruciate just exploded. So that surgery they hadn't done before. The doctors were saying, the Raider doctors were saying they hadn't done that surgery before. So they literally brought my hamstring down and wrapped it around my posterior cruciate and made a little knot. And that's why they were saying this may last 3 years, maybe 4 years, but you better get ready to use that education you got. So
did you do a different rehab than people were doing at the time?
Well, that was one of the things, I had been rehabbing for a couple months and really wasn't getting any better. And the Raiders, probably for the first time in their, existence, went outside of the organization to a facility in LA. And I remember this guy literally cursing out the trainer, like, are you guys stupid or what? I mean, don't you know what an injury, and they were treating me like a ACL and not a PCL injury. And that was the big issue. So once we started with this new routine, I mean, literally in a month's time, I was back out running. I still had a little bit of a limp because of the inability to really flex my knee. But at the same time, I was doing that without pain, which was, a good step for me because before I had been in a lot of pain trying to do anything.
I'm curious your thoughts on your Raiders, who won on Monday night in one of the craziest games I've ever seen. What was that like as a former player for the Raiders watching that game as it unfolded?
Well, I was there, sitting up in the booth with the commissioner, and it was really heart-wrenching, man, because, only the Raiders can lose a game that they won, and that was the thought after the interception is, the touchdown got called back, get the false start, do you throw an interception, and now the Raiders are about to lose a game that they just won. So just put that in with the tuck game, with the game way back in the day, with Stabler throwing the ball, the Holy Road, whatever. Just put that in there with that one because, I mean, here we go again. So, I mean, it was pretty interesting, man. I was really happy to see this young football team fight through that and defense come out and make a huge play, and get this team in a position to win the game. But I mean, even then, it wasn't easy. It looks like they were going to kick a field goal. For some reason, they allowed the clock to expire, and now they don't want to kick the field goal. They come back and throw a touchdown. It's just a crazy game, man. But I think it's a great sign for a young football team that has had a chance, or had a hard time, I should say, winning tough, close football games like this.
So Jon Gruden makes a little news here, Tim. He said that Darrell Waller is the best player he's ever coached.
Hey, I texted him. I said, "Well, me and Jerry gonna eat you up about that, but just deal with it because you deserve after that." But at the same time, look, man, this kid Darren Waller is a special talent without a doubt. I think that when you look at his background and where he's come from, what he's overcome to be where he is right now, I mean, it is truly, truly special to see him doing the things that he's doing. So I told Gruden, look, man, whatever you have to do, whatever you have to say, because I know you don't really believe that, but but whatever you have to do and say to keep the big man rolling, please do it and say it, because this kid could end up in a good spot, at the end of his career if he keeps on this pace.
You think the Raiders have the right? Is Gruden still rightfully? I don't know. Should he be in this seat, Tim, is what I'm trying to ask.
Look, man, you're probably never, ever going to get me to ever say anything bad about Jon Gruden, because if not for him, I'm not in the Hall of Fame. What he did for my career, he didn't have to do. He could have very easily say, hey, look, man, I'm not going to fight with you. I'm not going to fight with Al Davis about you. I'm just going to, hey, man, trade you, move on, and make this guy happy, make my job easier. But he didn't do that. After watching film on me, he thought that he could get more out of me. And I told him there's going to be a problem if you do that. But he chose to fight through it. And because of that, when he got to the Raiders, man, I had 40, 45 touchdowns in 10 years. And, in my 4 years with him, I scored another 45, almost 50 touchdowns, got me in a position to get to 100. And, that just would have happened. So, look, I know people say that he is, out of touch or whatever. I don't understand that, because the offense has not performed bad since he's been there. I mean, they've had some injury problems with the wide receiver position and young guys playing that spot. And that's a very, very complicated offense, man. I don't know if you notice how many shifts and movements and all those kind of things that you're doing, all to run a simple dive play, but he's doing all this stuff, and you got to be in touch with what's going on. And if you're not, it's not going to set up a play that he's got set up for the third quarter that he's trying to get set up in the first quarter. So the offense is complicated, but I think they have performed well in his time back when they had players out there. I think all that is going to work out.
Yeah. So Tim, when Gruden got there, he was kind of boy wonder, comes over as a former offensive coordinator from Philadelphia. A, what were your first thoughts of him? And B, do you have a Gruden story that when you think back, you kind of just laugh about and go, yeah, that's Jon?
Yeah. Well, look, when the first time I saw him, I walked right by him because I didn't know who he was. I mean, he looked like he was 18 years old. He was only like 34 at the time, but he's a short guy, had the blonde hair, the blue eyes, and he looked like one of the the guys helping around the facility. So I knew he was a new guy, but I was like, "What's up, bro?" And I walked by, and he let me walk a couple steps. He said, "Oh, that's how you gonna treat your new head coach?" I was like, "Whoa!" I mean, you look like the hired help around here or something, not the head coach. But I couldn't believe how young he looked. So I mean, look, that's a story that we talk about all the time. And he immediately brought me into the office and started talking football and showing me film of me that he had been watching. So yeah, he's all in when it comes to that stuff.
You're not the first player in NFL history, Tim, to not necessarily always be in line with upper management or the owner of the football team. I know, in Chicago here, there's a lot of Chicago Bears who don't see eye to eye with the the McCaskey family. But like, looking over your right shoulder, there's the Raider hat. You just talked about how you were at the opening game. They're playing in Las Vegas now. But it was never easy with you and Al. I'm curious, like, how that love is just there for you still, that you didn't become bitter towards them at all.
It was never a loving relationship, but it was never a bad relationship, if that makes any sense. I just was not one of Al's guys, but when you look back on it, Fred Biletnikoff wasn't, Marcus Allen wasn't, Howie Long wasn't, the Stork wasn't, you know what I mean? So I'm in a long list of Hall of Famers who wasn't this guy. And man, look, that motivated me during games and throughout my time with the Raiders. It really motivated me because I kept saying, if I did this, then I'm going to be one of his guys. If I do this, I'm going to be one of his guys. And that never happened, but it kept me going on a plateau like this, And I can remember when I was inducted into the California Hall of Fame. After the NFL Hall of Fame, Mark Davis was there, and it was about 400 people in the room, and I said, "Hey, for you other 399 folks, this speech I'm giving is not for you. I'm talking to one guy, and that's Mark Davis." And I said to him, "Look, man, I didn't get it. I didn't get it years ago. I didn't understand. I kept fighting it, trying to understand, but I realized, what your father did for me." Was the best thing, was the right thing, because I don't know if he would have ever put his arm around me and say, "Tim, let's go out to dinner," because that never happened in 16 years with the Raiders. I don't know if I level off. I don't know if I even start going down, because now I feel as if I made it. You know what I mean? Now I'm sitting with the man. So. So I just went on to explain to him, man, look, I apologize if I ever seemingly, disrespected your father, but that was never the plan for sure. But at the same time, today, standing here, I get it. I understand, and I'm appreciative of what he did for my career.
Does it ever bother you that you feel like you were never one of his guys? I mean, it seems like you were the best player on that team for at least a decade. And I know you mentioned other Hall of Famers, but when you look back, obviously now Al's been gone for a decade. Does it bother you that you were never one of his guys?
No, I mean, like I said, it did up until I got it. You know what I mean? I mean, once I realized that, man, what would have happened if he would have done? Do you know, Tim, what would have happened? And I couldn't answer that question. So I think from that standpoint, I was, I felt bad because my wife was on me that I didn't mention Al in my Hall of Fame speech. And I could understand why she was upset about that, but again, I didn't get it until I got it. I couldn't speak on it, but once I got it, I was able to speak on it. But no, I mean, I was never bothered by it because, again, Fred Biletnikoff was my coach for 15 years with the Raiders, so he did an incredible job going, "Man, just keep playing. Just play the game. Don't worry about it." You know what I mean? So that helped me out tremendously.
Tim, I know you got a new thing you're working on, or at least I think it's new. H to H.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised I don't have any memorabilia or something around here, but yeah. So we, when I was inducted into the Hall of Fame, when I was literally on my way to go do my speech, one of my buddies from Dallas, old country guy, came up to me and said, "Tim, do you realize you only the ninth guy to be a Heisman Trophy winner and be inducted into the Hall of Fame?" And I was like, "Lee Shaw, man, look, man, that can't be the case. I know there's about 25, 30 guys who have done that." So, and literally on my bus ride over to do my enshrinement speech, I Googled it up, and Google hadn't updated me, so it was only 8 guys, and I was literally shocked that there was only 8 guys who had done that, and I was going to be the 9th. Charles Woodson going in this year became the 10th. So we thought, man, look, wow, what an incredible legacy that is to leave from a football standpoint. But how great would it be if we all got together? And at this time, a lot of natural disasters and that kind of stuff going on. And why can't we have a representative there? Why can't we have somebody? Why can't we, as a group, get together, have some companies to put money in our foundation that we can give to these situations that are happening around our country? And with that, man, we sort of logged in, and me and Lee, and a couple of years ago, we got another guy to come in, Mark Bluestein from Aquarius, to come in and say, look, man, what you guys are thinking is incredible, but there is a chance for branding and all that kind of stuff. So it sort of took it in a whole different direction, but at the same time, we're partnering with the NFL Foundation, man, and doing some incredible things there. We got some NFTs out there right now that if anybody interested, you can go and find those. I just think, man, it's an incredible opportunity for us to. More men have walked on the moon than have accomplished this feat. So it's something that we're really proud of. And in 22, we're going to have a big premiere. We're filming a documentary right now. And so that premiere is going to happen at the Hall of Fame in 22. So we're looking forward to it.
Congrats,
I always
that's
love
awesome.
to ask the great players, more special for you, playing on Friday, playing on Saturday, playing on Sunday?
Well, my high school was so bad, I rarely played on Friday nights here in Dallas. So
Then it wasn't Friday.
We were 4-25-1 my 3 years on varsity. So I didn't get too many Friday night games, but Saturdays were really special, man. To be able to play a home game and literally an hour and a half be sitting back in your dorm room, and having everybody come by and congratulate you and all that kind of stuff was, my last 2 years at Notre Dame was phenomenal, home games for me for the most part. So it was always good, to be in that situation. Once you get to the pros, man, it's a job, bro. It's business. And if you don't treat it like that, you're not going to be in there too long, So even though there's a lot of enjoyment and you get making money and this kind of stuff, there's a lot of pressure on that professional level, man. So there's not a lot of relaxing. There shouldn't be anyway, because I know I'll tell you this story and I'll shut up. But my rookie year, I was having a really good rookie year, and we had a game, and we were coming out Monday to walk through our mistakes or whatever. And a lot of guys, hey, Tim, man, that was a great job. Just give me a lot of praise. And Art Shell, who wasn't the head coach at the time, walked by. He said, I don't know why you are so excited. We were talking last night as a unit. We were talking about how we were going to replace you, last night. And I was like, I don't know if he was lying or not, but I mean, to me, it was like, oh, okay, I got to keep driving. I got to keep driving. So there's no relaxing in the pro level. So I guess the answer to your question would be Saturday.
Since you brought up Art, does it mean something to you to have played for the first African American?
It does. It was a major thing, man, that we talked about, and thankfully we had guys like Howie who understood how big it was for us to go out and represent, Art in a very good way, because if we didn't, then there's a chance that no one else would ever get that opportunity. And we were happy we made the AFC Championship game. We made the playoffs a couple times, and really put him in a position that at least other folks saw that, hey, a black man can't do this. So and I think it was a great situation. But that's something that we are extremely proud of, man. That we, in some ways, paved the way for all these guys who are getting opportunities now.
I wanted to ask you, with the Raiders, you played essentially half your career in LA. You played half of it in Oakland. Now the team plays in Las Vegas. Do you almost have an identity crisis as a former player? Like, you played in two different cities for years and they're not in either city anymore.
Well, while at the game, the question was, are my stats LA Raider, Oakland Raiders stats, or is everything on the Vegas? And I was told everything is the Vegas Raiders now. So there is no more LA or Oakland Raiders stats, So yeah, I mean, that's only the Raiders, bro. Only the Raiders can be in this situation. But it's really interesting what has happened with the organization. But man, I tell you what, I was almost brought to tears. For all the guys who weren't there and was looking forward to this opportunity to be to see the Raiders in their own stadium, and I mean, I know when I got to the Raiders in '88, it was a main subject. Where's this team going to play? Who's going to build them a team? I mean, a stadium. Where is it going to happen? And here we are, 31 years later. Well, I guess it officially happened last year, 32 years later, I should say. But that they are playing in their own stadium, man. And I kept opening and closing my eyes, like, am I really in the Raiders stadium with all this activity and all the entertainment they had there? It was really just amazing and really good to see.
That's interesting. Like, so you actually feel like Vegas is home for the Raiders. Like, it feels right almost. Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, that situation Monday night, and maybe it was a Monday night deal. Who knows? We'll see in a couple of weeks when I'm back up there for the Miami game, and if the energy is. But from what I hear, and I've never been to a Knights hockey game, but I hear those games are off the chain too, with activities and everything they have going on, the music they're playing. So it's going to be interesting to see if Monday night can be duplicated. But again, from what I'm hearing, it will be because that's the way Vegas does it. And if there's a city that could do that kind of entertainment, it's certainly going to be Vegas.
I'm put you on the spot. Did you enjoy playing more in LA or in Oakland as a Raider?
Well, that's a tough question, only because, I probably enjoyed the fan base more in Oakland than I did in LA, because LA is a very, very fickle town when it comes to sports. And if you're, 8-4, your last 4 games, you're going to have a full stadium. If you're 4-8, your last 4 games, you're going to have an empty stadium. And that's just the way it was. I mean, in 88, 89, we were 8-8 those years, I think it was, something like that. Not so much, fan base. In 1990, we got the thing rolling, and we had 100,000 people at the stadium because it hadn't been renovated at the time. So, so I think from that standpoint, but I love playing in LA because I had first cousins who I had, would only see growing up, on our summer family reunions in Monroe, Louisiana. But I was literally able to see those guys all the time, and they're my age. So it was a beautiful thing to be able to, rekindle a great relationship with them. Now they all moved to Dallas, so they're here with me. So I'm a little, topsy-turvy about which one I enjoy most. But if you're talking about fan bases, then I think we have to say Oakland.
Tim, we appreciate the time, and we'll jump you out here in a second, but I just want to rewind back to the Art Shell part of the conversation, because that's a conversation right now in the NFL. Can we get more diversity in the front offices?
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, did you guys at the time, was there like a sit down meeting, like, hey, we are going to make sure this guy is successful, or was it kind of unspoken? Like, do you remember anything like that at the time?
It was definitely a sit down. It was a team meeting without the coaches that we voiced, and that's why I brought up Howie, because Howie was one of the guys who stepped up and said, "Look, I'm obviously not an African American, but I understand the importance of what's happening here." And so, from that standpoint, not that we wouldn't play hard for any other coach, but at this particular point, we need to make sure that we're on our P's and Q's about what we need to do, man. So I think from that standpoint, it was, look, I mean, how could you not talk about it? Because it was the biggest story in the NFL at that time. You know what I mean? That an African American was taken over as a head coach of a team in the NFL. So, yeah, that was not one of those, hey, let's just go play football. That was something that we talked about. And, we knew the importance of what we were going to have to do from a discipline standpoint, right? Could we be, look, we're the Raiders, so we're going to always get jacked up with the officials. That's just how we think. But at the same time, let's go out and present ourselves, as guys who, look, again, I mean, these are conversations you probably should have with any coach, but I just think that it was next level because of what was at stake with the hiring of Archell.
Last thing for me, I'm just curious, to build off that, you guys in 1990, really good team. You get a bye week in the playoffs. You beat Cincinnati in that famous game where Bo Jackson gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you go up to Buffalo and things go kind of sideways on you from the jump in the AFC title game. When you look back at your career, I mean, so many great moments. I don't mean to end in a sour one, but is that maybe the biggest regret is not getting to the Super Bowl with Archell, one step away?
Well, unfortunately, because of what was going on with Marcus Allen and the Raiders at that time, when Bo went down, of course, you lose a talent like Bo, it's going to hurt your team. But you got a guy like Marcus Allen who, was relatively young and, obviously in a great position to step in and do what he had done his whole career. And, the decision was made not to start Marcus Allen and to start Vance Mueller. And so, when that happens, man, look, not only does a team have to prepare to win a game, the organization, the coaches need to prepare, and the owner needs to prepare also. And when you make a decision from the owner position that I don't like this guy, so I'm not going to start him in this championship game, then the message you send to the team is I want to win, but I want to win my way. And and I think anytime you have that kind of seed of doubt in a player's mind, some players may be able to get through it and get over it, but other players can't. And once things start to go bad, you hear that, well, we don't deserve to win anyway type thing. If they're going to treat Marcus that way, if they're going to do this, if they're going to do that. So, so I think from that standpoint, man, it was very disappointing that we couldn't make it happen. But at the same time, we were walking into, a beehive anyway up in Buffalo. And we didn't have the protection, man, to be able to deal with it mentally or physically at that particular time.
All right, we'll end on this one. Since you brought him up, was there any one Bo Jackson early moment like you're like, oh my God, this dude is totally different than anything I've ever seen?
Yeah, my rookie year, we were playing the Denver Broncos, and we had this play, red right, red right zoom, which brought me from a Z in motion. Zoom was in motion. 16 Bob Trejo, right? And Bob Trejo tackle comes down, block in comes around, the guard comes around, hits a tackle. My job was to come down and hit the safety. If everything went right, Bo Jackson should come right off my butt and be off to the races. And this particular play, everything went great. And I hit the safety and Bo comes off my butt. And I just said to myself, I'm gonna go catch, I'm 4'3", you know what I mean? I'm gonna go catch Bo Jackson, So I put my head down, man, and when I looked up, I mean, it was comical how fast he was pulling away from me. And I couldn't understand how that was happening. So I just sort of like peeled off the field and just ran off the field. And I came to the sideline. I was like, was I in mud? Was I running in mud or something? What? And then Dave was like, dude, don't ever run behind him. Don't ever chase him. Because when you look at it on film, he was pulling away so fast. And I was legit 4'3" coming out. And I could not believe how fast this guy was. So, Yeah. So never run behind Bo Jackson was the lesson I learned my fourth game into my NFL career.
Oh, that's awesome. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, he clocked. I think legitimately he clocked like 409 or 441 40. But in that infamous play in Seattle, where he ran through the tunnel,
Yep.
they timed him from what they call the moving 40, the 30 to the 30, 30 to 30. 386 is what they clocked him at, in a moving 40. So I mean, that's obviously ridiculous stuff, but he was that kind of freak of nature, without a doubt.
Tim, we really appreciate the time. Awesome to talk to you. And I'm super excited for H to H. I love docs like that. I'm assuming you guys are telling stories and all of it. So
Yeah. And we're looking forward to it, man. Again, it's going to be an incredible opportunity for us to leave an incredible legacy off the field. We've done all we can do on the football field, but this is going to be a good opportunity for us to do something that maybe our kids and our kids' kids can latch on to, and have this thing go on forever.
Thanks so much, Tim, for joining us. Really appreciate it. Obviously, one heck of a career. Heisman Trophy winner, Hall of Famer, Tim Brown. Thank you for joining the Stacking the Box podcast. Appreciate it. Yep, right there.
There
Right over
they
your
are.
shoulder. Not bad. Not many people have that on the
Hold on.
What you
This
got?
is the most impressive sports memorabilia that I have. This golf ball this year at the TPC Sawgrass Island Hole, I had a hole in one.
yeah.
Oh, all right. Of all the things, you got
All
the
the
Heisman,
things.
you got a
It
million
trumps
trophies
all
behind
that. Forget all that stuff there. It's all about the golf ball.
you. The hell with the stuff you worked for 30 years.
Exactly.
That's right. One shot, baby. That's
One
it.
shot.
All right. Tim,
All right,
thank you
guys.
so much. This was great. And I hope we'll hopefully talk to you down the line. Appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Take care.